Go on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that people in China have one view, people outside China have another view. I don't really care about the views, and I don't really care
Yes.
about, you are bound to say that the ones outside China have a different view, but I don't want to hear that because I'm not interested. As I told you
Yeah.
before, politics do not interest me. Every country has good and bad, and I can see that, okay, China has done good for Tibet. That's good enough. But
Mm,
all I saw some Tibetan. They happened to be refugees, and they happened to be
mm,
the first people I met. And to
mm,
me, that's all I see in people. I don't really care about the
mm,
history. I don't really want to know because it saddens me. I don't care about,
mm,
wars and things like that because it upsets me. I don't care who is right, who is wrong. All I want to know is
mm.
let people survive, and you know, I see the goodness in people. I don't want to
Yes.
take sides on anybody. It's happened, and I can see from China's point of view, they've done a lot for Tibet, and that's good enough for me. But I met
Mm,
the Tibetans, they come from Tibet, and they were also very nice people. So that's
yeah.
it. That's why I never want to visit Tibet, only because I visited that place where the Dalai Lama escaped to. And
Mm,
even though it's not Tibet, it was a nice place. Nice place
mm,
because I met nice people, not
mm,
because I've got any feelings for which side is right,
mm,
which side is wrong. I don't
mm,
have that kind of feelings anymore. Because as I say,
mm,
when I was young, I had feelings about Malaysia, and I was right
mm,
because they have not changed. And
mm,
that is the only feelings I have because it's where I was born. It was my
yeah.
home. And if everything
Mm,
had gone well, I would have gone back there and lived there. In fact, if once I came over to England, and
mm,
if I didn't decide to carry on in England, I would have had to go
mm,
home. And if I went
mm,
home, I might have married somebody there and have a
mm,
different life. But I
yes.
would have been happy because I did
Mm,
not like the politics. I'm not that kind of
mm,
person to be false. I don't want
mm,
to be rich and having to bear the corruption in the country. Here, I know
mm,
every country has got corruption, but here I don't see
yes.
the corruption because as a simple person, I don't
Mm,
earn much when I was at work, so it doesn't come across to me. So I don't really care.
mm,
All
mm,
I have is a roof
yeah.
over my head. I worked hard
Mm,
and I brought up my two
mm,
kids, and I try to be good to people, and that's all that matters
yeah.
to me. I don't really care
Yeah.
about what people say about politics. I think it's so bad. I just, like for example, my sister has helped these refugees from
Uh,
Syria, and they're so
mm,
poor, but they escaped from Syria and came to Egypt and stayed a few years there, and then they got the
mm,
chance to come to England, and some
mm,
places in England took them and helped them, and they are such
mm,
nice people. And
mm,
just like I say, when you meet people, no matter what
mm,
race they are, you can see
mm,
the goodness in a person. And when you
mm,
see the goodness in a person, all the rest doesn't matter anymore. They are
yes.
terrible because they've escaped from a country which is still at war. And yet,
Mm,
you know, they are lucky to be over here and get a new life. And they are so
yeah.
grateful. So
Yeah.
that's what life is all about, why
Mm,
why people have wars and fighting and all that sort of thing. It's not necessary.
mm, yes.
And also they're destroying our planet.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, it's very difficult. Like,
Yeah.
in England we have to do recycling. Years ago we
Mm,
did not have recycling, but since they introduced the recycling, my husband is very particular about recycling because he'll say,
mm,
because we have the recycle bins, you can't throw
mm,
everything into the recyclable bin because that's not allowed.
mm,
If it's bottles, you
yeah.
throw in there.
Yeah. In England, do you have the policy to classify the lucky the
The dustbin,
the
rubbish.
dustbin
Yeah,
rubbish?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we have for example, in our area,
Mm,
we have
mm,
the normal rubbish collected every
mm,
3 weeks, and we have the
mm,
recyclable rubbish also collected
mm,
every 3 weeks. And then we have the garden waste collected, I think, every 2 weeks. So you've got 3 bins. One will be your normal household rubbish, like anything that you want to throw away. The other one
yeah.
is the things that you can recycle, like glass and plastics. And then the other things, like garden waste, you can't throw into your normal rubbish. You have to put it aside to garden waste for them to recycle it. So now it's got all this, and it's better for the environment because, like in the past, I mean, even recent past, they used to send all the rubbish to places like Malaysia and India, things that they don't want,
Yeah.
and those countries
And
like
China
India,
too, yeah.
yeah, so it's no good. I think,
It's not until the last year or the 2 years
mm,
ago, 5 years ago,
yeah,
China stopped the
stopped it,
imports
yeah,
of yeah
all this,
all the rubbish from the West.
yeah. It's bad because whatever rubbish you have, you should, get rid of it yourself. Think of ways of getting rid of it, and don't use
Yeah.
all these plastic bottles because they are
Mm,
clogging up the environment. All
yeah,
those
I agree. Yeah.
yeah, so many of these things are wrong. Like they go
Yeah.
into the sea and they kill the fishes. So terrible.
And animals. Yeah.
And animals, yes. Yeah.
And uh, I think it was last year or 2 years ago,
Yeah.
in some places in China, like in Shanghai, the government introduced the rule that everybody should classify their
Rubbish.
rubbish
Yeah.
into four types.
Yeah.
One is the red, how's that?
Mm.
Hot wet rubbish, which is the
Ah,
rubbish from the kitchen. We
yeah.
call it the
Mm.
wet rubbish. I don't know what
We
is
also
the
have that.
correct.
Every week they'll collect the food waste. Like if
Yeah,
you
food waste.
finish your
Yeah,
food and the bones and all that, you have
yeah.
to put it to one bin, and they will collect that
So
every day. I mean every week.
so so that's one type. The other is called literal translation is the dry rubbish, which is
Ah,
like dry
household
rubbish,
rubbish. Mm.
household rubbish. Yeah, and the third type is called the recycled rubbish,
Yeah.
which can be recycled. And
Yeah.
the last one is called the poison, poisonal,
Ah,
uh,
poisonous.
point rubbish, which means that kind of rubbish may be
Cannot be
harmful,
read. Mm.
like
Yeah, I know.
the
Like for
batteries.
example,
Yeah.
yeah, batteries and oil and all that sort of thing that you cannot put
Yeah.
together. How
Yeah.
about the garden
So,
waste?
sorry, what garden waste?
Garden waste, like if you have a garden and you mow the lawn, the grass and all that,
Uh,
do you put
uh,
that into a garden waste?
Usually, most of us will not have a garden, and I
Yeah.
think the garden waste. I think it should be the wet rubbish.
Oh, yeah.
That's similar to the rubbish from the kitchen, like the
Yeah.
food, the waste, yeah, the food.
Yeah.
Yes, but I think that's not easy in China because most of us will
Yeah.
not have a garden,
Yeah.
and this from the past 2 years, yeah, since
Ah.
the world started to carry it out, uh, it's very strict. If you put the rubbish into the wrong rubbish bin, you'll be fined. And
Oh. Mm.
and the cleaners, have to reclassify because first of all, the citizens have to classify their
Yeah.
rubbish at home and then put them into different rubbish bins. But
Yeah.
at first, not all the people can follow this rule.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's still many of
Mm.
them just throw it into any rubbish bin they want.
Yeah.
So the cleaners, they have to do the reclassified job. So that's
Building.
very,
Mm.
very, yeah. They are very, how do they have to work?
Work very hard
Their
to do it.
jobs, work hard. So um, Yeah. So in China, we start to classify those uh, rubbishes,
Yeah.
and I think that's good for the environment. Yeah, you can recycle the
Yes, there are
some
things that you
kind
can
of
recycle.
rubbish.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it's good.
And yeah, and and it's just like what they do in Japan. I think Japan has done a very good
Oh,
job in the
yeah.
sorting the rubbish. Yeah,
Oh,
rubbish. Yeah, yeah. You can
it's
see
good.
their
Mm.
mm, their rules about classifying the
Yeah.
rubbish. Yeah,
Mm. It's good.
and
Then
actually.
everyone does that part.
So yeah,
Yeah.
so I think yeah, if every country follows it,
Mm.
yeah,
Then it will help
then
a lot
it will be good for yeah for the
for
environment.
the
Yeah,
environment. Yeah,
and
that's true.
there are more and more countries are set to announce their country will achieve carbon neutral in
Yeah, yeah.
before
Mm.
2050, and China is
Yeah,
2060. Yeah, I
yeah.
think that's also a good signal for protecting the environment because can you
Yes,
imagine
that's
that
good.
all the countries can uh, European countries, I think so, and Japan, South Korea,
Yeah,
and even China. Yeah, these countries have promised to
yeah,
achieve uh,
yeah.
carbon neutral, yeah, before
Mm.
2050 or 2060. So
Yeah,
that's a very good for the environment.
yeah.
And also
That's good.
many countries also announced that there will not be any gas, traditional cars
Yeah.
be sold in their
Mm.
country. Yeah, like in Europe, yeah, and in Japan, many countries has announced that all the I think after 2030 or some a certain year, all the cars being sold should be uh, uh, vehicles with new energy. Most of them will be
Yeah. Mm.
like ele electricity. How to say that?
Yeah.
They call it EV,
Mm. Electric cars.
electric cars. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Okay.
Okay, so can leave you
Yeah.
here and
Yeah.
uh, mm, okay, so
Yeah. So
you can
see you
make
tomorrow.
more recordings. Yeah, you can make more recordings.
If I
Yeah,
can
so
find
that
short
yeah.
ones. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah. All right
See
then.
you
So
tomorrow. Mm.
okay. See you tomorrow. Thank you. Good night.
You're welcome. Bye bye.
Bye bye.